This is the scene this hour in Cairo and the central Tahrir Square. You can see tens of thousands of people. You can hear the horns honking, very lively as Cairo time swings into the evening hours. Lots of people protesting the government of Mohamed Morsi. The country's proposed new draft constitution will be voted on in a referendum starting tomorrow. Across town, there have been Muslim Brotherhood demonstrations as well in support of President Morsi. Middle East correspondent Sasha Petrusik is in Cairo and joins us now. So, Sasha, just tell me more about the demonstrations. What are we seeing today?
Well, Nancy, I was at both of these demonstrations. They were large, they were noisy, they were passionate. People on both sides of this issue have very strong feelings. It is a referendum tomorrow, starting tomorrow, on a new constitution, but for many people, it is more than that because, as you know, over the past couple of weeks, there have been clashes on the streets of Cairo and in other cities in Egypt. People have been very upset at the way this government which is supported by the Muslim Brotherhood, an Islamist group, has been acting. People say that it's been much more dictatorial than they expected. They expected a people's government, and instead they feel that they've been getting something that's closer to what was in power here in Egypt before that, which is a dictatorial system under Hosni Mubarak, what they fought against almost 2 years ago. So the whole atmosphere around this has been very, very tense, has been very passionate, and all of those passions came out today. People are worried on one side that this constitution is going to fundamentally change this country. On the other side, they can't wait for it to happen.
So let's talk, Sasha, about the source of the tension and the turmoil that we've seen in recent days, the draft constitution that's being put to a vote in the referendum tomorrow. What are the essential elements of this constitution? Why is it the source of such passion, such controversy?
Well, at the core of it, many people say, in fact, actually most Egyptians would agree that this constitution would make Egypt a more Islamist state, a more religious state. On one side, on the pro side, they say, well, that's just the way Egypt is. It is primarily an Islamic state. Most people here are Muslim, and it is a very religious, conservative state. So the constitution just reflects that. On the other side, people say, well, sure, that's fine, but we're already religious. We don't need a new constitution to tell us this, and perhaps even to impose that on people. And I think that's the other part of the problem here. People feel that this constitution lays the groundwork for giving the president, Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi, his party, and in fact the whole sort of Islamist movement too much power in this state, that they can act the way that they want to. In fact, the way people say they've been acting over the past couple of weeks, passing laws without any question, without any sort of oversight, passing decrees that give the president sweeping powers. So there's a lot of fear that that sort of thing will cause problems in the future, especially for minorities such as Christians and perhaps other religious groups, but also for those who are not religious, who are atheists. Just this week, there was a court case where someone was sentenced to 3 years in prison because they wrote a blog against organized religion. People are afraid that more of this will happen. And of course, there's also fear that women will not have a very active role in this country because the Constitution actually talks about society deciding how women should be able to balance home life with professional life and perhaps intervening. There's a lot of fear about that kind of thing. So the Constitution itself is not very clearly defined, and I think that's what worries a lot of people. There's a few hints that there could be a lot of worse things coming.